I know there are quite a few of you who come here mostly for my tech advice alone, and for my perspective on technology. And hello, welcome to you. This one's for you. Um, yeah, I've been having a bit of a chat with people about how much I hate the eSIM change, but that's not about. This is not about that. This is an about hardware unboxes video that no one's buying the AMD Zen 4. Um, I individually, personally, I tend to give like my advice, especially for the perspective of like somebody that's budget constrained, because of the fact that I don't have a limitless budget to adopt technology myself. You know, I'm not of that class of people that can just, constantly go through these upgrades and everything. But they're talking about how no one's buying the AMD Zen 4. So the thing is that I hope Zen 4 sales start to pick up myself, but personally, if you want to know my own individual take on technology, I would actually recommend against adopting the Zen 4. The reason why I'm saying this isn't because Zen isn't an amazing platform, that AMD isn't, that I'm not completely in the tank for AMD, that I'm not incredibly enthused to see them taking over. And the reason why I like AMD is that often with AMD, when AMD is in the lead, you end up getting a faster CPU for half the fucking price that you would pay to get, an Intel product that was comparable to it, or and this has been the story with AMD going all the way back to the fucking Athlon era. Unfortunately, Intel started to get a massive upper hand for quite a while and started pummeling AMD really, really hard. And it took a long time for it to get back up on its knees, and start to stand up and give Intel some pushback finally on the whole thing. But we're let me put it like this: like the next generation after is coming. Zen 5 is coming up the pike, faster than any of us anticipate. Like we'll be there, and I would bet that by the time you feel that sense of display, that time will it'll go over very quickly for you, especially at my age. So like I think Zen 5 is like sometime in like 2023. I don't know, maybe it's 2024, but yeah, either way, Zen 5 is going to be such a better platform than Zen 4. Zen 4 is, just Zen 4 is basically just Zen 3 on steroids, but that's what they're doing with it, and that's great and everything. I mean, that's awesome, but if you know me, you know how I feel, which is that when the architecture itself starts to get redesigned from the ground up, that's when the biggest advances tend to take place. And so for me, I'm already on Zen 3. I've given AMD my money, to build a Linux box. It needs to be repaired at the moment, but it was running Kali. I have to reinstall because unfortunately, stupid old me didn't realize you're running a process that you expect to take 9 months. You shouldn't be updating it because it will kill your video card eventually. I wasn't able to get Hashcat to recognize my video card after a while, after too many bumps up in updating it, and now I feel derp. I've learned an important lesson. Don't go in there and update the system for the whole fucking 9 months, which is really hard, but harsh. But that's the reality that I now find myself in. But at least on Linux, that's achievable. On Windows, the system will reboot itself with its crapware updates. At some point, that breaks something. See, I mean, this is what happens when you get more and more experience with technology. You start to realize, hey, maybe I should wait with those updates. Like, I've been preaching this for a while now. I just have to follow my own fucking advice. Like I knew this. I just ignored it. I feel kind of dumb for having done it, but at least it's on my own computer and not some company's time because like I said, if you update the production server, you know, oh, without testing it first. Oh, you're fired basically at the major companies. Like I know this. Like I my dad would have my dad would be reaming me out about this. He'd be like, "You know this. Why didn't you follow your own advice?" Like I don't know. It just I wanted to see what was, coming up the pike, so to speak, these applications. So I'm enthused by the way that Wine got updated as well. That we're on the latest version of Wine as far as all that's concerned. Next is basically talking about Wine 7.19 has been released, which is, Linux gaming is like I said in my previous videos on this topic, Linux gaming is not there yet, but it's chugging along bit by bit by bit, incrementally. And now we're at Wine 7.19, and we'll see if you see if we're and we're also apparently at WineConf 2022. They talked at Vulkan P conversion progress, and Wine 8.0 is coming early next year. Taking place this week alongside Xorg's Developers Conference was WineConf as the annual gathering of wine developers. But yeah, so this video was largely. I'll link that Phonex article. I recommend that you subscribe to them as far as RSS is concerned. They keep you updated as far as Linux software and its updates. Um, Linux gaming isn't there yet, but it's getting there, you know? So hats off to the Linux community for that. Like I said, I mean, there are these people. People have a way of like acting like things are set in stone in the technology space, and they really aren't. I mean, if there's one thing that's really essential to technology is that it updates incrementally. But yeah, so the thing is that Zen 5 is likely to be a much bigger and broader architecture update to the AMD platform. And if I were you and I were budget constrained and I had I'm in my position where I've just built a Zen 5 machine, a Zen 3 machine, sorry, with the top of the line out of the consumer grade market with the 5950X, hold off for Zen 5. I mean, that's really my advice for the cash strapped because Zen 5 will probably be expensive, but you can save up until then. You can save your money, stack your cash until it comes around, and then once it's here, Zen 5 is going to dwarf Zen 4 in terms of its upgrades in terms of processor speed. So, I am literally salivating at the point. I've got techno lust where I've got literally 16 cores at the moment, and I can't wait to upgrade to a 32 core. On a consumer grade machine. I'm hearing from members of the audience of the man whose video that I'm gonna link as far as this is concerned. And the hot bar with hardware unboxed. It says that it makes sense. Really, Zen 3 was such a hit because of it at most a BIOS update for a lot of people for a massive upgrade. Yeah, yeah. Low barriers to entry are what really make the difference in a big way. But the thing that is causing people to be really really slow is that the CPUs are already expensive with the Zen 5 with the Zen 4 architecture, but the motherboard prices are what are really killing them. In that they're completely out of control at the moment. There's a tech shortage still ongoing. We're still in the midst of it. I would argue. I'm with the people that are predicting ultimately that there will be a glut going forward in the future, that our shortage will yield a glut, but we're not there yet, and we won't be for quite a while. Building a fabs takes a long time, and my prediction is based on the fact that there's a bunch of defabs being built as we speak.